I'm just okay. I really agree with the president. I think that most Americans just do not care about this. This has been an obsession of elites on the right and now elites on the left. Elites on the right were obsessed with it when they thought they could use it to hurt leftists, and now the left is obsessed with it because they think they can use it to hurt the right.
All right, folks, welcome back. Buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the intellectual aerobatics of Batia Ungar-Sargon, who, bless her heart, seems to be living in a different dimension when it comes to the Epstein files. You wouldn't believe the mental gymnastics some people perform to avoid the obvious truth. Let's roll the tape and see what fresh takes she's got for us.
Elites are the ones who are obsessed with the Epstein files? Aren't the elites the ones raping the kids? Batia, Batia, you know what you're doing. We all know what you're doing. You're not a dumb girl. So don't present yourself as one. But anyway, Batia Ungar-Sargon has declared that ordinary Americans don't care about the Epstein files, meaning that Americans aren't worried at all about the fact that society's elites, including those with political power, are either pedophiles or have provided cover for pedophiles for years. And she's wrong about that. In case she was acting in good faith, which I am very suspicious of, an October 2025 PBS NPR Marist poll found that 75% of Americans want the full file release immediately. And we still haven't gotten that, by the way. There's still 3 million files that the DOJ under the Trump administration is refusing to release. And of the files that have been released, as we all know, because we've been pouring through them, they're heavily redacted. And
Okay, hold on a second. Most Americans don't care about this? Really? Really, Batia? With all due respect, what planet are you on? This is some niche political squabble? No, it's not. This is about child trafficking, about one of the most heinous crimes imaginable, perpetrated by the ultra rich and powerful. To dismiss it as just elites on the right or elites on the left, being obsessed is not just wrong, it's insulting to every single parent out there. This isn't about scoring political points, Batia. It's about justice. It's about holding the powerful accountable, regardless of the political affiliation. When the system is so clearly rigged and the most vulnerable are exploited, you bet your bottom dollar regular Americans care. We care about the rot at the top. We care about protecting kids. It's not an obsession. It's a moral imperative. Trying to frame it as a political infighting is a classic deflection. And frankly, it doesn't fly here, Toots.
while they failed to redact the names of the Epstein survivors, which I think would have been the priority, they redacted the names of the predators in the files. Interesting. Anyway, so let's talk a little more about what's going on here, because she had more to say about what we have discovered or haven't discovered in the Epstein files. Let's take a look.
Agree with so far, there has been no evidence of that. I'm looking through all of the documents, and so far there is still no evidence.
Well,
I'm open
well,
to
then
it.
why not?
If
Why-
you listen
why-
to me, I just feel like it's like the obsession. I mean, bringing the Clintons in, it's ridiculous.
Right.
Well-
I don't think bringing the Clintons in to testify is ridiculous at all, because clearly Bill Clinton's name shows up quite a bit in the Epstein files, and asking questions is the right thing to do when we're talking about a long-running pedophile ring that led to Epstein securing a sweetheart deal where he gets to leave the prison during the day. I mean, obviously, this is a deep issue that has led to quite a bit of distrust among Americans when it comes to our own institutions. And you can't have a country function appropriately when its people don't trust its leaders. And that's where we're at right now. But there's no evidence of criminality from what we've seen. First of all, last Friday, Trump's DOJ released around 3 million documents. We're still pouring through them. And every day there are more and more findings that cause so much despair, honestly, for me, because it's like, oh my God, like the whole system needs to be burnt down and rebuilt again. Okay, like I don't think that reform is gonna help. Like our system is so deeply corrupt and broken. But she's like, no, I mean, we haven't No evidence of any criminality. Okay, then I'll give you some examples. These are some of the more recent revelations that we haven't talked about on the show yet. But I will remind you, one of the things we talked about earlier this week was the diary of the 16-year-old Epstein survivor. And so she is writing down what is happening to her in real time. And she said that she was made to be an incubator for Epstein, meaning she kept getting pregnant in some cases, forced to give birth, and they would take the baby away. And she would write about the pain she felt as they would take the baby away from her. And then she would write in a very detailed way about the abortions she was forced to have. No evidence of criminality? Now, she could be lying in her diary. You could make that point. But to say that it was just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that were preying on people, no one else. There's no evidence. There's no indication. There's no probable cause that anyone else was involved. That 16-year-old, by the way, mentioned Leon Black, financier, as someone who allegedly assaulted her, raped her. But no evidence, according to Batia Ungar-Sargon. All right, then there's this revelation. Annabelle, a British woman who, like Ghislaine Maxwell, appeared to procure the right type of girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, look, this in and of itself is not proof of wrongdoing. Like, you're not going to get a conviction based on this email alone. But there's so many messages like this that lead to questions, right? So I'm going to read it to you. Hi, Jeffrey. So I am putting a little group of girls together. Hopefully one of them will have the right qualities you desire. Wish I was 20 years younger and could speak French. I have to say that a few of my girls who would be perfect for the job, but are unfortunately past their sell-by date, would have dropped their husband and almost children to do the job when I asked them. Okay, so you get the point. So the real question here is, okay, is this a woman who was supplying Epstein and the rest of these predators with underage girls? I don't know. But rational people who care about justice, people who want justice for the survivors would read an email exchange like that. And they would want to know, was that appropriately investigated? Who was this woman? More importantly, why was this woman's name redacted? Why was her name redacted, but the names of the survivors weren't redacted? There's more. By the way, that email was sent by a British socialite. Okay, so in another email exchange between Epstein and hedge fund executive Tancredi Marchiolo, he sounds Italian, which pains me, but nonetheless, Epstein says this: "What do you want me to do with your friend?" This is an email from September 8th, 2011. Tancredi responds, "Hit on her." Okay, to which Epstein responds, "Do you want me to try to do her or just torture her?" Torture comes up a lot in Epstein's emails, by the way. Someone had apparently sent him a torture video, and he responded by saying, "Loved the torture video."
Okay, so let me get this straight. We have emails where Epstein is discussing torture and literally saying he loved the torture video. And Batia Ungar-Sargon is still out here saying no evidence of criminality. Are we talking about the same dictionary here? What exactly does it constitute criminality in her world? A signed confession notarized with a blood oath and a unicorn witness? This isn't just a red flag. It's a whole damn red ocean. The mental gymnastics required to look at this kind of evidence, direct communication about torture, for crying out loud, and still claim no evidence is beyond comprehension. It's like standing in a blizzard and saying, nope, no snow here, just a lot of really cool dust. This isn't just flawed logic, folks. It's willfully blindness, or worse, a deliberate attempt to downplay the monstrous nature of these crimes. It's truly infuriating.
No evidence of criminality. Anyway, someone who is redacted in the files sent Epstein an email in March of 2011 to say this: "Your littlest girl was a little naughty. But according to Batia Ungar-Sargon, nothing to be concerned about in the latest tranche of emails and documents that have been released. By the way, I like focusing on the emails because, the documents are a mix of FBI documents in which they're fielding calls from people making allegations. And really, you have no way, we don't have the ability to prove that what's being alleged actually happened. I read the FBI documents, don't get me wrong, it's not like I dismiss them. But I like the emails a lot more because these are actual exchanges. You're reading what Epstein himself is saying. You're reading what Epstein's co-conspirators are saying in these emails, right? And so no one forced Epstein to say these disgusting things. And no one forced the various people he was communicating with, many of whom have been redacted, to say the hideous things that they say in these emails. Let's go to some more. All right, another redacted person wrote to Epstein on February 2nd of 2015. Let's take a quick look at this. All right, so hate letters pouring in off the Reuters piece. So Reuters had written about Epstein and I'm guessing others associated with him. One of which I answered, as you saw. But in a day or two, The Guardian will come out with a lengthier piece in which they tried to trap me and succeeded in good part because it was Sunday and I was already enjoying myself. Now, this is the part that you should be concerned about. We don't know who this person is. Their name is redacted. Their email is redacted. But here's what they wrote to Epstein. The key are the 14 to 15-year-old girls. I am a sexual pervert because I say they are now of reproductive age.
If that email doesn't make your blood run cold, you might want to check for a pulse. The key are 14 to 15-year-old girls, now of reproductive age. This isn't just no evidence of criminality. This is pure unadulterated evil laid bare. This isn't a slip of the tongue. It's a calculated predatory mindset, explicitly detailed in black and white. And let's not forget the terrifying implications of mentioning reproductive age in this context. It's not just about sexual exploitation. It suggests a deeper, darker horror at play. To deny this as evidence of criminality is to deny reality itself. It's a slap in the face to every victim and a dangerous appeasement of truly sick individuals. This isn't just about elites anymore. It's about the very fabric of our society and whether we stand for justice or allow these monsters to operate in impurity. It's crazy. Batista's argument isn't just flawed. It's morally bankrupt in the face of such depravity. This is why we can't trust the establishment anymore.
Yes. Yes. Why are you even thinking about their reproductive age? Yeah. How about you don't think about that when it comes to 14 and 15-year-olds? But no evidence of potential criminality here. None. Nothing to be concerned about, according to Batia Ungar-Sargon. She really did better when she did what every other Israel defender / Zionist does. They just stayed quiet. They pretended like the drop didn't happen, that we didn't see a new tranche of Epstein documents. She did better under those conditions, right? That was a better strategy. But coming out and denying what we've all been reading for several days now it's a choice. It's crazy work. Now, I should note that Dershowitz infamously had penned an op-ed calling for the age of consent to be lower to 15. So while we don't know the identity of the person who sent that email, it's very clear that Epstein had.
And there you have it, folks. When people try to tell you there's no evidence or nobody cares, remember these moments. The truth is out there and it's usually ugly. We need to keep pushing for accountability, for transparency, and for justice for every single victim. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking this doesn't matter. So tell me, if you agree that we need to expose the rot in our institutions and hold these powerful predators accountable, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone you know. Let's keep this conversation going and demand real change. Until next time, stay informed and never stop fighting for what's right. And as always, stay vigilant, patriots, stay vigilant.